How did it all come about? How did you win this role? Yeah. Let's take it back to step one. What happened? How did it all come about?
Oh my gosh. I love talking about this because part of my brain thinks it didn't happen. Like, I feel like this couldn't have been real. This is a dream come true situation. I auditioned for it in January of 2021. That was last year. And I had a director's meeting later in the month, and then the audition, it just disappeared, and I think I didn't hear back, so I kind of moved on with my life. And then a couple months later, I got a call from my team being like, hey, and it was a Friday night. And they were like, hey, are you busy? And I was like, I think I was with my friends. And they were like, so this thing you auditioned for, it's coming back. So get ready. You might have to do another callback. And so I was like very excited, thrilled.
Yeah.
And then they called me back a couple minutes. They were like, so I know we said it's coming back, but it's actually faster than you think. Like, you have a meeting with the director in 30 minutes. And I was like, oh,
Stop.
Okay. And I was like so sweaty. Yeah. And so I had time to go home and shower and not even review the script. And so they were like, so you have this meeting with the director, and then we're going to email you some pages because your callback is tomorrow morning. And here's 13 pages. And they were like, and also, so after your meeting, you have to get a COVID test. And I was like, if the meeting's on Zoom, it was all Zoom. So I was like, why do I have to get a COVID test? They were like, well, because if you get it, you're leaving Sunday morning. And this was Friday night.
You're joking.
And so I was like,
you're
oh my God.
You're kidding me.
Oh yeah.
Is this real?
This is real. And so there's a part of me that I feel like that just like clicked. And I was like, all right, I'm in the zone. I got to do this. I've been training for this. And so I got into this, like, it could have been it was a mix of panic and focus and like, just do it. So I had the meeting. And it went so well. Fia, the director, is just the most lovely, smart, incredible human in the whole world. And then I was waiting all day, and they called me, and they were like, okay, we don't know if you got it, but you need to do it again. Now you have to do a chemistry read. And so I was like, okay. And so did it. And then ultimately, by the end of the day, I didn't think I had it because they never called me saying I got the part. And it was Saturday, and if I was going to leave on Sunday, I assumed I would find out the day before. And so at the time, I was juggling a bunch of day jobs, one of which was Hebrew school on Sunday mornings. And so I woke up really early Sunday because I was like, well, didn't get the part, so I have to make my lesson plan that I haven't started yet. And fortunately, I woke up really early to do the lesson plan because they called me at like 7 a.m. being like, you got the part. And I was sobbing, called my family, and they were like, and you have to get on a plane in like 3 hours. And so I was like, oh my God. And, I called my family crying. My mom, I'm from Los Angeles and I live here, so my family fortunately could come to my apartment. We just threw everything I owned into a suitcase. And then I called my family first, and the second person I called was my rabbi, basically to be like, Rabbi Amy, I quit my job because I got this part. And she was so happy for that. And so then I got on a plane, and it was the most surreal experience ever. But I think because this has been a dream for my whole life, the fanfare of it all, the how fast it was, it felt like it perfectly paralleled my excitement for what was going on. So it was kind of perfect in the end.
Talk about putting the ride into Along for the Ride, babe. Do you know what I mean?
It's like I got on the plane and I was like, okay, now I need to review the script again because it's been so much time. Yeah, It was very surreal. But I felt so fortunate that Fia was the director and everyone there was so incredible and kind and patient. And so I immediately, once I was there, I felt so taken care of. So I was very lucky with that, I think.
You must have had so much faith in yourself to actually step onto that set and not feel like an imposter in that situation, right? Like, how did you find that power to like step into that zone?
I think that's a really interesting and complicated question, but a good one because I think about it a lot, because while this has been my dream forever and in much smaller ways I feel like I've been working towards this forever, I still felt like such an imposter. Actually, wait, I'm going to read you something because there's this when I left, I was really having a major imposter syndrome moment, especially because of the timeline, and it felt so quick. And my dad read me this quote that I wrote down. Can I read it to you?
Oh my God, 100%.
And I like kept it next to me the whole time when I really felt like an imposter. It's a Bruce Springsteen quote, which feels very my dad.
Love it already.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the quote. So you take those steps tenderly until you reach the chasm, then you jump, for there is no steadily inclining path to the big time. And I love that one because I think it shows that, like, you know, you can train, you can work as hard as you can, but then there is that leap that you have to take. And so showing up on set, I knew that I had worked hard and I was hoping that my training would back me up, but I still was like terrified. And so it required that jump. But once I was there in the scene, in the work, I was like, oh, wait, this is actually something I've done before. I may have never done it to this scale. I may have never done it with these incredible people I grew up admiring. But the work itself is something that's very familiar to me and very comforting to me. And so it was sort of like figuring out how to, in my brain, shrink what was going on into just like what I had in front of me, which is something that, you know, I've done since 5th grade in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown in kindergarten.
I think that's what's so special about the film as well, because it is about this girl who's going and having these new experiences. And I think that the part of the life that this film deals with, which is this very weird time when you're kind of leaving school, leaving behind your home life that you've known and you've lived in for so many years, and then you're then going into this new environment of college/university here, and you're like, who am I? What am I doing? This is so weird. It's such a weird transition period in your life. How weird was that time for you? Like, let's take it back to your own experiences there. Like, where were you? Who were you? What were you going through mentally at that point in your life?
That was a really complicated time, as I'm sure it is for everybody. Summer between high school and college, I went to university, and so I was kind of preparing, getting ready to leave my friends, leave everything I knew. I was working a couple of day jobs that summer, and I was doing a yogurt shop and babysitting, but it really is this moment of, you know, if you grow up with a certain group of people at school, you're known in a certain way, and sort of that moment of like, okay, who do I want to be in this new environment where I can kind of create. I feel like, you know, every year we become a new updated version of ourselves, and the history is no longer attached to us as we meet these new people. So I can say, who am I right now in this moment, and how will I meet these new people? How will they see me in this new version of myself? But it's also a moment where I think I certainly had no idea who I was. I still am working on it. You know, we're all ever evolving and redefining ourselves. And I think when I think back to that time, I think the thing that I really struggled with a lot is that I'm very introverted. I'm an extremely introverted person, and at the time I didn't really even know what that meant, and I didn't have the tools, therefore, to deal with it. And so I would often put myself in social situations where I would, you know, run out of energy, because being introverted is, you know, you give energy by being around people. And so I didn't know how to like properly take care of myself socially or in work environments so that I would always have energy, always be as friendly and wonderful as I could possibly be, because I didn't have the language or the tools to deal with it. So I think at that time I was sort of like, you know, FOMO, all of this stuff, trying to experience everything I possibly could, social anxiety, and didn't know exactly how to care for myself in the proper way.